Hey everyone, my name is John DePietro.
I'm Bob Zagami with the Camper Report Show.
In this Camper Report Show, Bob, I'm going to be talking with the editor of Woodall's Campground Magazine, Ben Quiggle, and he has some very interesting thoughts about the camping season for this entire year of 2022.
It's going to be fun, that's for sure. And I've got something that's going to be even more fun. I'm going to let our fans in on a sweepstakes where they can win a free Keystone Springdale travel trailer.
Win a travel trailer. Wow, that's cool. Those stories and all the news of the day coming up right now. Where, Bob?
The Camper Report Show.
Stay with us, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Camper Report Show. My name is John DePietro in our northern New England studio. And Bob Zagami joins us from our southern studio, Bob, in Florida. But you know what, folks? Look, we both have
chilly Florida.
We both have long sleeves on, and it's very, very interesting that we're talking about you're in Florida and I'm in Massachusetts, and we both have long sleeves on because in the news today there is a report from KOA that 4.3 million families are going to be camping right here in the month of January. What goes with that?
I don't know. It's a new trend. We've seen it advance each year, but I think we have to credit the outdoor enthusiasts for that because there used to be an outdoor skiing and hunting and doing things in the winter, rock climbing. So they're bringing their RVs with them now. I think that's where that statistic is coming up and why it's increasing every year.
Well, I mean, winter camping is now a phrase. It used to be, are you crazy enough to go camping in January?
Yeah, they couldn't wait for Columbus Day to pack them up and put them away for the year. And now they're stretching it to Thanksgiving. And some of them are saying, no, we're going to do this all year.
Yeah.
We'll winterize it, but we'll still go camping.
It's so true. There's so much more to talk about in that KOA report. But before we go into the details of that, there's news that was finally released this week that for 2021, the industry total of RVs produced was over 600,000. Now, you've been around this business a long time. 500,000 used to be the kind of like figure that everybody would shoot for. And now we're 20% over that. What's going on?
Yeah, it's just supply and demand. It's crazy. And they're projecting that this year, 2022, we will do more than 600,000, produce more than 600,000. And it's everything under the sun. It's being driven, though, by, from a family standpoint, the smaller trailers, the bunk bed type units, but Class A, Class B motorhomes, they're hot. Luxury fifth wheels are hot. They're very popular as people have discovered and they want to move up to larger home-like features. They're very popular. So, yeah, it used to be that we'd get over 500,000 every 2 or 3 years when we have a spike.
Right. It would creep up to that and then drop.
That's going to be the low point for the next 5 or 6 years.
Well, you know what? Evidence that those 600,000 units will be surpassed in 2022 is the fact that, and you were an attendee, 80,000 people attended the Tampa RV Super Show. You were one of them, and you just said earlier that that figure may have been up to 100,000 if there wasn't some bad weather in the last couple of days. Talk about what you saw, but importantly, Bob, talk about who you saw there, the demographics of who was shopping.
Well, it was a buying frenzy. You saw everything from young teenagers to older adults that were getting ready to retire. I mean, it was just a frenzy. It was electric. Somebody described it as electric. It was as if we didn't have 2 years of COVID. It was back to the good old days. Yeah. Shoulder to shoulder. Dave Kelly had a couple of quotes in one of the trade magazines. Dave runs the Florida RV Trade Association, and he said they were shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow, no mask. They were just. It was an RV show from the years past. And they were selling an unbelievable amount of product. Unbelievable. But it's a great venue to begin with. But I said to somebody on Wednesday, they broke a record. They went over 20,000 people on Wednesday. And I said to somebody then, if it's sunny for 5 days, they could hit 100,000 people. And they came close. I mean, we've never had any show that did what they did. They did over 80,000. And Saturday and Sunday here in Florida were like Massachusetts. I mean, literally, I think Saturday morning, it was 36 degrees here in the Naples area. 36, overcast, cold, rainy all day. And people were still standing in line for 45 minutes to get into the show.
Wow.
Standing on a cold, rainy day.
And
Sunday,
to get in.
yeah, just to get in. Yep. And Sunday was the same way.
Well, you know what? And they're going to go camping again. And interesting, let's go right back to that KOA report. Speaking of going camping again, this report, which KOA, sponsors, and I think it's our friend Scott that puts it together, shows that 70% of the people who camped in 2021 will also plan to camp again in 2022. Now, that's an amazing number when you figure there were so many new people last year that may have had trouble getting into a campground and we were always wondering, will these people be soured on the camping experience if they can't camp? Evidently not.
Well, it's even more interesting when you think about it. That's 70% of the people who camped with KOA last year, right? Or is that a universal?
Well, see, that I don't know, because I know KOA statistics are for everybody, because it includes national
that's true.
parks.
Yeah,
so it's got to be. It's got to be everybody.
Yeah, but what you have to add to that is that next 550,000 people who are going to be going out camping next year for the very first time, on top of what we saw this year with the packed, and you do have to make your reservations early, but some of these places are packed. But I don't think that should scare people, because we're seeing a lot of alternative options for them. We're seeing a lot of the new business is driven by boondockers. They want to be off the grid. They're not even going to look for a campground. That's not the type of camping that they're going to do, which also is broadening the base of demographics for the entire industry.
And that's why you have the opportunity to look at a totally younger demographic that really doesn't have an interest in the RV park pictured behind you, in the picture right behind you. Yep. So, and actually, they're like the people in the unit behind me, that Revel by Winnebago, where they want to go off-road. And you know what? I'm sure that when you walked the aisles at Tampa, you saw so many solar issues, solar products. In fact, when we were talking in Boston with our friends from Keystone, Matt and Kevin, they said that they are putting solar on the units directly at the factory. So
a lot of the manufacturers are, but it is coincidental, because we don't tell each other what we're going to do before we press the button here. But yeah, I've got the traditional campground experience behind me, and you've got the new generation in the Class A and Class Bs and boondocking and just going off. And there were several new Class A, Class B, all-terrain vehicles and off-road vehicles introduced at the show this year.
Yeah, exactly. So, and the interesting thing, they are planning on using them, because now here's a KOA stat. Their advanced bookings for 2022 are 51% above last year. Look I don't care what kind of business you're in. If you're 50% over the prior year, you're doing something right.
Yep, absolutely. And that's on top of a great year before that in 2020, when COVID first hit and people started going out. So
exactly.
we have no place to go but up from here, John.
Yeah, we're up, but we're going to go upper. We're going to take you higher. I think there was a song by somebody called "Going to Take You Higher." So anyway, we're going to take you to two great stories about camping and RVing right after this, because this is what, Bob?
The Camper Report Show.
Stay with us, everybody.
Mike here from RV Blogger. Don't waste hundreds of dollars on an external GPS for your RV. All you need to do is download the RV Life app right onto your phone. This app is so cool. It has RV GPS built right into it. So you can load all the specific measurements and weights for your RV. It'll give you directions safe for your RV to follow. And by the way, if you have RV Trip Wizard, directions for your trips upload into this GPS automatically.
All right, welcome back everybody to the Camper Report Show, and I got a special guest today, Janine Pettit, the camper-in-chief of Girl Camper. Janine, it's great to have you with us. How you been?
Bob, it's always great to be with you. I'm great since I saw you 2 weeks ago at the wonderful Boston RV show. Huge success. Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
We had
Well,
a blast.
They love you. You know, you got your own little, you're like the Pied Piper. We put you up there on the seminar stage, and you gave 2 great seminars and standing room only. They love you. I know you were busy for the whole show. Every time I came by your booth, you were extremely busy with a long line of ladies that wanted to find out more about Girl Camper.
You know, and that is what we do. And even though trade shows are long, exhausting days, it's somehow so exhilarating, and you feed off other people's excitement. So it was a great time.
Yeah. Tell us, for those that may not know you or haven't seen you on the internet or may not know about Girl Camper, give us a shortened version, because I want to get into the sweepstakes, but I want people to know who you are and all about Girl Camper.
Well, I just started Girl Camper, sort of by accident, Bob. My husband doesn't like to camp. I love to camp. I found out that there's women out there and they go camping without their husbands. And I thought that was just pure genius. And so I got myself a little camper and a Mercury Mountaineer, and I started just camping weekends with girlfriends. I grew up in a camping family. I knew a lot about towing and RVs. And I saw people doing things like, ooh, that trailer is way too big for that unit. They don't have their chains on right. There's no brake system on there. And so I started just writing a little blog, safety tips. And I somehow came across the radar of the people at Go RVing who asked me to start writing for them. And then I started the Girl Camper podcast, and then I started a magazine, and then I started Girl Camper chapter guides across the country. So now we have 30 Girl Camper chapter guides helping women get out there and go places and do things, but do it safely and find a tribe to do it with. So if you don't know what you're doing and you look like those girls are having a fun time, I want in, we'll help you.
Well, girl campers do have fun. I see it every time I see you and learn a little bit more. Today, I wanted you on today because I know you have a sweepstakes going with some incredible prizes that we want our fans to know about, and we want our fans to buy tickets. So tell us the history of, because I think this is your 4th year.
4th year. I can't believe it's our 4th year.
I know.
We said when we started Girl Camper, when we really took it up a notch, that we feel we get so much, and we always want to be a company that gives back, so we were sitting around, we're like, we need to pick a charity. Well, my own sister started a not-for-profit called Hold You Foundation. And my sister started this because when she was a senior in high school, she was very ill with what was a nebulous illness at the time, but she spent much of her senior year in high school at the University of Pennsylvania Children's Hospital. It's called CHOP if you live in Philly, Children's Hospital in Philadelphia. And because we're from a big family, one of us was always with her, but she never forgot the kids that were there alone, 5 years old with cancer treatments, because their parents have to be at work, because you still have to pay bills. Even when your kid has cancer, you still have to pay bills. And so my sister started a foundation that helps parents, not with medical bills, but with the bills that help you keep the ship rolling while your kid's in treatment. That's what we love about Hold You. You can write to Hold You, and they'll pay your electric bill. They'll make your car payment for you. They'll make your insurance payment for you. They'll pay your PSE&G if it's going to get turned off. And 70% of families with a child in a catastrophic illness fall below the poverty line while their child is being treated. So that's what we wanted. We wanted to be part of the team that gave immediate relief to these families in a dire time. So the money we raise for our 4th annual Girl Camper charity raffle goes to the Hold You Foundation for that cause.
Okay, now you're a little bit behind where you want to be at this point in time. So we want people to, and we're going to post the website, we're going to post some videos, we'll intersperse that with the interview, but talk a little bit about the prizes. Let's do it in reverse. Let's talk about the
bottom up.
Bottom up. Let's hold the trailer for the end, but talk from the bottom. What else can people win if they don't win the Springdale travel trailer?
So if you don't win the trailer, we've got some great prizes, starting with the Camco portable refrigerator. Camco got into the portable refrigerator business this year. I have one. Absolutely love this thing. It can run on 12 volt. So when I'm driving in my car, I can have my snacks, my lunch, everything in my Camco cooler, and they come in multiple sizes. So I have a super big one, but I also have the small one, which fits on the floor of my passenger side, which I love. Camco is giving the big one away. Go Power is giving a solar system away, the solar portable solar panels. So if you want to boondock, charge your phone, run your 12 volt in your camper, Go Power has a fantastic system they're giving. Outdoorsy, who has been such a friend to Girl Camper, is giving, I think it's an $800 credit. So if you have an RV you've always wanted to try, maybe you have your eye on something and you haven't bought it yet, you can rent it from Outdoorsy and get that experience. You know, we love Outdoorsy for a fly and drive vacation, especially this time of year. And jump on a plane and go to Arizona, pick up your Outdoorsy rental, enjoy a couple days in the sun, and fly back home. And you're not spending all your vacation time in a car getting there. So we love Outdoorsy, and they're giving an $800 gift card for that. I'm scrolling through to see what else we have. Oh gosh, our friends at Lippert. You know, Lippert just got into the lifestyle components. You know, we all think of Lippert for their great power jacks and leveling systems and the components that go on an RV. But Lippert is going out there and they're making great lifestyle things now. Chairs and benches and all the things that we need, portable tables. So Lippert is giving a $500 gift card. So you can use it however you want. You could buy yourself some spectacular chairs, or you could upgrade the leveling system on your camper. Our friends at Airlift Suspension. Airlift has been such a great friend to Girl Camper. My nephew just put the Airlift suspensions on the back of his truck, and he was so proud of himself because he installed them himself. And he sent me the before and after picture. So if you're one of those people that might need that because you got a dip going on, Airlift is giving a suspension system to us for one of our grand prizes. We also have a fantastic electric bike. So are you hearing a lot yourself about electric bikes?
All over the place. We had a couple of exhibitors at the Boston show. They were all over the Tampa Super Show. I think they've really reached mainstream with RVers now because there are so many options, so many different price ranges. Yeah, this is going to be a big year for e-bikes. And what better way to get one than to win one?
Yeah, to win one, right? They're not cheap. And I was out in New Mexico in November, and I had the opportunity to ride the bike that we are giving away. It's made by a company called Buzz. What I really loved about this is it folds up. I could pick it up myself. It was only 35 pounds. So I love the idea that I didn't need a ramp to, I folded that thing up and I put it in the back of the truck. And I mean, inside the truck, my back seat, it's only 35 pounds. It'll go for like 7 hours on a charge and it will go up to 40 miles per hour. So imagine you just get to the campground and you're all set up and you want to buzz around to the campground, to the lake or to a friend's site or just up to the camp store or take it out on the trails. That thing was so much fun and super easy to operate. I really got on it like, oh my gosh, I hope I don't break my neck. It was a breeze.
That's fantastic.
So we've got some really fantastic prizes.
Yeah. So let's talk about the grand prize because you've outdone yourself this year with this combination. Tell us about the Springdale trailer.
Well, first of all, I can't tell you Springdale without thanking our friends at Keystone RV for going to bat for us. They secured this beautiful Springdale RV for us. They let me pick. They said, Janine, you know, what do you want? Like, we want to be part of the giving section too. We want to be the givers. And I saw that Springdale RV down in West Virginia at Setzer's World of Camping. I was doing a camper college there, and I was showing off units she had on the floor. And I walked in that Springdale and I went, oh my gosh, look at this gigantic picture window. I just loved the layout. I thought I would take this camper. Like, I would love to sit in that big open window, both sides there. So the view was spectacular. Kitchen counter space was huge. Good big U-shaped eating booth, a big queen size bed up front, and the full 3-piece bath. So that in itself is enough. But then we got our friend Courtney Armstrong, AKA the Flipping Nomad. We got Courtney in on it because Courtney's ambassador for Keystone, and Keystone loves to put people together. And I met Courtney through them a couple of years ago, and she and I just latched on like soul sisters. And I called her up and I said, would you put your spin on this for us? Because nobody does it better. I mean, it's Courtney's signature look. And I can't believe, I think we gave her a budget of like, it wasn't much, $500 or $700. And she turned that thing into magic. It is so beautiful. And she came up from Texas and she did that at her own expense. And she's another one with the heart of gold. And so it's Courtneyized. It is the Flippin' Nomad.
Yep, and it's a beautiful trailer. So the thing that's nice about your sweepstakes when you do them is they're one of a kind trailers. So nobody else is going to have a trailer like this trailer. They may have the same brand, they may have the same floor plan, but if you put them side by side and you walk into them, nobody else is going to have the sweepstakes winner from Girl Camper. So our guest today has been Janine Pettit, camper in chief for Girl Camper organization. And we need you to go buy some tickets. Tell them where they can get the tickets, Janine.
We have tried to make it as easy as possible. If you go over to girlcamper.com, you'll just sit there a second and the pop-up will come. And it'll just be right there in your face. And I said to our back-end people, make sure you put a big X on it so people can X out when they are not there for that reason. But it pops up, and then Keystone made a great video of it. So
it
you
is a great video.
It was fun, wasn't it? Their marketing team is a blast. So we're a little behind where we were this time last year, which every year I think, oh no, we're not going to hit our number. But somehow through the generosity of people like you, Bob, and the whole RV community spreading the word, we get that money. And we are the largest donor to the Whole Jew Foundation. They really count on the RV community to help them. So we just want to keep pushing it. The drawing is, the raffle ends, sweepstakes, it's a sweepstakes. The sweepstakes ends on February 14th, but because you're allowed to mail in tickets, they will not choose the winner until February 17th. And of course, we'll go live with lots of fanfare and tell you all that, but you can buy tickets up until February 14th. So maybe you buy your Valentine one.
There you go. All right, so let's get everybody on board the Girl Camper Sweepstakes. Janine, thank you very much for joining us today.
And thank you.
It was great seeing you in Boston, great seeing you in Tampa, and I'll see you someday.
And we'll see you again soon.
So we will. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my friend. Always good to be here.
I'm Jesse from Outsiders Calling, and I love adventurous family travel with my wife Jenny and our son Tucker.
For over 3 years, we've RV'd across the US and Mexico, and it's tough to find places that meet all our needs.
Now we plan our trips with the RV Trip Wizard. Pull it up in the RV Life app, select it, and go.
It helps us discover amazing new places to grow together as a family.
RV Trip Wizard with the RV Life app is an awesome trip planning combination.
You can get both for one low annual price. Check out rvlife.com to learn more.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Camp Report Show. My name is John DePietro. And, you know, at this time of year, we have a tendency to look back and look ahead. So here we are, we're in January, and, 2021 was quite a wild year for the RV and camping industry. And we thought there is absolutely no one better to discuss what went on and, more importantly, what's coming up than Ben Quiggle, our friend from Woodall's Campground Magazine. And Ben, welcome once again to your very frequent appearance here on the Camp Report Show.
Well, thank you. You set a pretty high bar saying there was no one better. So
well, there is no one
I've got to
better.
meet that bar.
There's no one better. So I don't want to put high expectations on you, but we're expecting a lot from you today. So Ben, as we look back on 2021, everybody thought that there would be major issues with getting campground spaces because of all the new RVs that were sold in the 6 months prior. Did any of your discussions or stories during the past year indicate that RVers are left out in the cold and couldn't get a campsite?
I mean, I think we definitely heard that from people, especially, as we said before, when you're looking at the popular destinations, national parks, and even a lot of state parks and, near them, the private campgrounds near those locations, I think, you definitely had frustrated campers. If you aren't booking now,
right?
I mean, what is it? It's not even the end of December. But yeah, I mean, if you're not booking in January, February at least, then you're probably not going to get a spot by Yosemite or some of the other real famous locations. That's just the way it is now. Yeah. And we definitely heard that. There definitely are still spaces available, even last minute spaces, but you've got to look beyond. Maybe if you want to go to Yosemite, be willing to travel a little bit outside of the direct Yosemite area, and you can find a camp spot, and things like that. So we definitely heard that, and it actually got worse as the year went on. I think we had like expectations of a real busy season at the beginning of the year, and then just demonstrated by Campgrounds of America's monthly reports, and even by RVIA. I mean, it's just amazing how much it grew throughout the year. So
yeah, and I think also, Ben, you'd agree that the diversity in the camper, the camper, meaning campers, the people that go camping, not the physical product, is amazing in that a lot of city people were into RVing because of the rental programs that are available on a national basis. So there's so many new RVers that are out there. Would you say that was a significant factor as well?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think some of the park owners I speak with had mentioned that 50% or more of their campers were new RVers. And, a lot of these campgrounds have had employee shortages, and it's, with new RVers coming in, they've had to put in some extra work getting them acclimated to kind of the lifestyle. And when I went to conferences here in November and talked with campground owners, I mean, they were just, kind of burned out a little bit. They needed some time away from the campground. And it's just amazing the diversity. You're seeing a lot more, Blacks, Asians, Latinos coming out and camping like never before, which is great for the industry. And hopefully we can keep those people coming back, all the new campers coming back.
Yep. There's two things that I would probably glean out of what you just said as we look toward booking for summer 2022. Number one is book early. Okay. Yeah. And as we tape this, it's the last week of December, but we'll air it in January. And Reserve America, where a lot of the state-run facilities are booking through. I mean, I know there are places that people are staying up late on New Year's Eve to book at 12:01 to get certain. There's the place in New Hampshire that's right on the water, Hampton Beach, New Hampshire, yep. Like directly on the water. If you don't book it New Year's Day, you don't get it. So yeah. They're booked from April to October in January. So that was one thing. And the other thing is to widen your path, not path, but I think of hurricanes, which we're going to talk about in just a second, but widen the geographic area that you want to look at. Don't feel as though you have to stay in that park. Like Yellowstone, for example, it's so big, you may want to stay on the east side of the park or the west side of the park in the the public and private campground areas. Would you agree with those 2 points?
Yeah. I mean, it's real. I'm a last minute person too. My wife and I are definitely very spontaneous, and we love to do last minute things. But if you know you're going to be taking a trip this summer and you know that it's probably going to involve camping and you want to go somewhere that's extremely popular, then, on New Year's Eve, you better have a mission of staying up late to book a campsite, because you're not going to be booking it in April or May. So they're just going to be gone by then.
Yeah. And that used to be the greatness of the spontaneity of owning an RV. Deciding on Thursday, do you want to go northeast, south, or west? And I know that in our particular situation, we've done that many times. And again, that was 7 or 8 years ago when you could do that and pretty much get a reservation. Now, there's one thing that I'm thinking just as I say this. If you're looking at a time period that you want to go somewhere and the park that you'd called is filled, would you agree with me? Call that park the day before or the day of, because there's always an opportunity for a cancellation.
Yeah, there is always an opportunity. And I will say, though, that the popular campgrounds do have a waiting list, and it grows. So I spoke with a campground owner last week, and she has like over 200 people on a waiting list already.
4th of July or?
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy for just summer camping. And she actually was telling me that she was thinking about shutting down her waiting list. I think some of those are seasonals too. So she has a huge seasonal list for people as well. But they do have waiting lists. So, but it is worth picking up the phone and calling last minute just to see what's going on. If you can wait until, sometimes it'll be like the week before. Or the day before or the same day. But if you're willing to wait and do that, I guess that's always an option if you're kind of looking for a more spontaneous trip. So
the key phrase to keep in mind is flexibility.
Yeah. Exactly. And to look beyond what you're normally used to. So yeah, you may want to be right in Yosemite, but maybe that's not possible. There are some great parks that are located outside of national parks, and maybe even like 60, 100 miles away, that there are great parks that you can have a great time at, and you may have to drive a little bit to get to the park every day, but you can still have a lot of fun and enjoy your time. So
great. And we want you to enjoy your time, everybody, as you get ready to camp for the 2022 season. And we want to thank Ben, and Ben will be joining us throughout the year. And we've got to get your cohorts in. We've got to get Kessler. We've got to get Sherm. We've got to get the rest of the gang in to do one big show coming up sometime in the not too distant future. And our partnership has worked well, and we look forward to continue it in 2022.
Yeah. Rick may be easy. I don't know. Sherm, he's kind of camera shy. So.
Oh, yeah. Well, Greg's not camera shy.
Greg's not camera shy.
So anyway, so everybody, we have been talking with Ben Quiggle, and if you want to subscribe to Woodall's Campground magazine, it is absolutely free. Just go to Ben.
Well, woodallcm.com, and there's a subscribe button at the top.
And it'll be delivered to your email box whenever the next issue comes out. Ben, thank you so much. And we want to let you know, folks, that you are watching the Camper Report Show.